Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Roofless Dog and Pony Show, brought to you by Roofless Painters. In each episode, we discuss what we are about to paint and why we are going to paint it. We introduce the theme of the painting collection we're getting ready to work on. We talk about the genesis of the concept, its contemporary context, and we reflect on the form it may take on our paintings. We also bring up stylistic and historical references as inspiration in the form of painting examples from the past. Our episodes are from life, messy and unvarnished, just like our paintings. I am Julio Panisello, the dream alchemist at Roofless Painters, an art school and gallery for nomads and misfits. And you can find all the episodes in video format at on our Instagram page and also on our YouTube channel. And if you visit those two, please leave us some likes and comments and follows. We would really appreciate it. And if you are listening to us, we have the episodes in podcast form on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Amazon Music also. So you can listen to us while you walk or drive, or you want to disconnect from everyone else, or if you want to fall asleep. Hi, Laura. All right, so okay, so I think I am going to. I forgot to upload the slides. Oh no. Okay, let me see if I can do it like really quickly while I talk a little bit about the theme of the next webinar. I think I will be able to do that. If not, I don't know what's going to happen, but we're just going to do it all orally, obviously. So let me see if it's possible. It's Friday. In the meantime, I'm just going to talk about this Friday, and I think I'm going to be able to do it. I think so. Yes. So we're going to talk about this Friday. Yeah, so I got the photos. Perfect. And this Friday, it's going to be a very important day. It's the spring equinox. It's the very important time of the year when we cross over to spring. We leave winter behind and we are ready for a new season. It's always a very important day that it's celebrated by many cultures and religions. And in fact, it's going to be New Year's for the Iranian community and other communities around the world. So we wanted to bring something that observed that change, that new season, new year, and we thought of many things. We thought of like bringing some symbolism about spring, and we remember that last year we learned of one event that we almost forgot about it, but one event that also happens during or around the equinox, and that is the return of the swallows to the San Juan de Capistrano mission. So this is an event that we were not aware of, but we learned about it. I don't know exactly how, and we haven't been there, obviously, but it happens on St. Joseph's Day, which is March 19. Every March 19, the legend says that swallows just come to the mission, the San Juan de Capistrano mission, to nest. They've been traveling from Argentina, more than 6,000 miles, migrating to nest in San Juan de Capistrano. So that's the sort of like the big story. So it's the most important day in the town, not only in the mission, but there are a lot of like festivals and celebrations. There's a very important festival it's going to be held online tomorrow. Tomorrow is St. Joseph's Day, and since the mission it's San Juan, which is St. Joseph in Spanish. So they call it the miracle of San Juan. And the miracle is that thousands and thousands of swallows, they just fly around the mission, and then they just find the nest that they left behind last year. All right, so I'm just going to bring the first slide, which is an image of a map of the mission. You can see it. I don't know. It's kind of like with a blue teardrop right above or on the upper part. So yeah, I brought them up because we want to make this about the swallows, not so much about the Catholic aspect of it, for many reasons. And we don't want to get into hot water, but we could just go into trying to decolonize history, and we're going to go there, but also we understand there are a lot of people that put a lot of time and effort in making sure that their festival is successful, and they bring a lot of like people to the mission. But nevertheless, we just want to say that the missions were founded by Junipero Serra, and yeah, and also we know that this is a very touchy subject, especially because this past year during the protest during June and July, Black Lives Matter protests, there were a lot of monuments that they were taken down, and one of them was in downtown LA, Olvera Street. The statue of Junipero Serra was taken down. For a lot of indigenous people, the missions represent oppression. They represent the erasure of their culture, and it's a very sensitive topic. And we have seen people talk about the pain over generations that still feels very much alive due to what the missions really caused. We're going to talk a little bit about it, but I think that's going to be our part of the trying to decolonize history. We also want to say that the migration happens throughout the United States. It's not only San Juan de Capistrano. They did a very good marketing job at the time, 1930s. I think it was the first festival in which everyone believed that was the pit stop for all the millions of swallows that traveled from South America, and it's not. There is something called the flyway, that it's a corridor from Alaska all the way to Chile and Argentina, in which not only swallows but other birds continuously fly north to south, south to north throughout the year. So when they arrive to California, there are many colonies of swallows, and one of the colonies is on the mission. But there are other colonies around California and Southern California. But anyhow, swallows are amazing animals because they... Okay, so we're back. So anyhow, I'm just going to do this really quickly. Yeah, so I was just saying that... yes, that swallows are amazing animals. They feed off flying insects. And they also make their nests out of mud. So you will find swallows or colonies of swallows nearby either rivers or water, just because water and rivers especially provide food, mosquitoes and other flying bugs, and also because the marshes provide fresh mud so they can build their nests. So if you notice on the map, the mission, it's on the confluence of two rivers or two bodies of water. And that's obviously on Google Maps, because if you just check on the satellite Google Maps, there's a bunch of buildings and Marshalls, McDonald's, and Home Depots, and the river is not blue, it's like all concrete. So obviously there's been a decline in the colonies of swallows, and the mission itself has been trying to make sure that the swallows find a home when they just come to Southern California. We also learned that swallows are monogamous. They establish single units, family units. We learned that they stay here until October 23rd. There's another festival that happens on late October, when they fly back to spend winter back in South America, all the way to Argentina, but in other places. And when they return, what they do is that they return back to their nest. So they fly freaking 6,000 miles, and they just find exactly where they came from. And then they find where they build their nests. And what they do is they rebuild the nest that has suffered damage over the year, but they actually do rebuild the nests. And in fact, we were just researching and thinking that maybe there's some colonies of swallows in Los Angeles where we live, and in fact there were colonies, and but they were considered pests because they built nests under eaves, and homeowners think that that's messy, and they make noise and they poop. So some companies, pest control companies, they have departments that are specifically targeted or focused on removing swallows' nests, so when they come back, they don't find their... Imagine like flying back 6,000 miles and then they just remove your home. And it's just funny because I'm from Spain originally, and I have fond memories, childhood memories of growing up. And in March, those are the swallows that fly from South Africa all the way to the UK and back. But they make pit stops along the way, and one of the places is Spain. And my hometown is nearby a river, and there's plenty of mud and plenty of mosquitoes. So swallows are always there in March and throughout the summer. And I don't remember considering swallows a pest because they don't scream and screech all night long. So it's just beautiful to see them active, looking for food when mosquitoes are out, which is like sunset. But then they just go to bed in their little nest. So not only I don't remember anyone breaking the nests, but it was kind of like a nice thing to experience after the winter. You would just hear the screams of the swallows, and it would be so wonderful. So I guess we don't have any more swallows in LA now, but and also the mission decided to remodel in the late 1990s, I believe, and they just destroyed all the nests. So the swallows refused to go back. They have been attempting to bring the swallows back to the mission, and at this point I have no idea if they achieved that or not. I don't know if any swallows are nesting in the mission or not, so it would be interesting to find out. The thing that we know is that there's a huge festival around this holiday, and the festival itself, there are mariachis, there are parades, and other kind of like weird stuff. But again, we're not going to focus on this aspect of the swallow miracle, the miracle of the swallows returning. We're going to paint swallows as a symbol of two main things: as a symbol of a new chapter, as a symbol of new beginnings, as a symbol of turning the page, and also as a metaphor of the long journey that we all have experienced with the pandemic, which is not over yet, obviously. But we thought it would be interesting to just bring together not only the idea of a new beginning, new year, new season, spring season, but also this idea of migrating, a long journey from one point to another point that takes such a long time. And so we kind of like feel a little bit identified with that spirit of traveling a long distance so far, exactly a year, and not knowing exactly where and when we're gonna land, but nevertheless sort of like moving forward and trying to, go through each day the best way we can. So I'm going to bring some examples. Swallows have been subjects of paintings throughout art history, and we brought some examples of paintings of swallows. And by the way, let me just essentially live for history, something that's going to be very controversial. So we talked about swallows being monogamous and forming single family units. Well, guess what? There is homosexual behavior and transsexual experiences within swallows also. So yes, male swallows and female swallows make families as well. And there's such a thing as transgender swallows also. And please do not Google gay swallows at all, because we can tell you that what's going to come up is not going to be related to birds. So we had to find another terminology in order to find out if there was homosexual and transgender experience and behavior. There are like many bird species that have that. So it is we're going to celebrate tomorrow the return of the swallows, and also thinking with this controversy about the Catholic Church that is not blessing gay couples. We're just going to pray, and as a former or surviving Catholic, I think I can say this. We're going to pray that if any swallows finally land and nest in the San Juan de Capistrano mission, please let it be gay swallows. Please, at least a couple. We would be really happy. So, anyhow, this is a Yayoi Kusama. We brought a painting by Japanese artist, contemporary artist, Yayoi Kusama. And she, we didn't know this, but she does have a painting called Swallow's Nest, 1989. And yeah, so she's an avant-garde Japanese artist, and she was very influential during the post-war New York scene, staging provocative happenings and exhibiting works such as her infinity net. So her infinity concept has been going on for decades, for a very long time. So you can see here that in 1989 she was also using the dot motif to create representational images, and what a perfect example of bringing contemporary artists using swallows as a subject matter in her paintings. Then Yayoi Kusama using her style. So also, swallows have been used in postcards, birthday postcards, St. Valentine's postcards, and swallows are associated with Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of beauty, I think, yes. So, and love. So you're going to see a lot of like vintage postcards of swallows, couples of swallows, bringing flowers or carrying strings and ribbons and hearts, and it's usually in the same position, sort of like diving down, flying. And by the way, these are barn swallows, and we learned that the ones we have in California, they are cliff swallows, so they have a different tail. The tail of the swallows is orange. But we brought those images as well. This is a Manet painting. This Manet painting that we've never seen It's titled Swallows, 1873. And yeah, so you can see it's not super easy to see, but we would like to actually zoom in, but we can't. Can we? No, we can't. You can see some of the tiny swallows flying over the ground on the right side of the painting, and these two fabulous figures in a very odalisque style, reclined and resting on the grass with this gorgeous cloudscape. So yeah, of course, we love this painting. Manet used a lot of black, and he was ridiculed in his day for using what people call an inadequate linear perspective. They thought his paintings lacked spirituality. People thought that his subject matter was always controversial. And nevertheless, Manet is considered or regarded as one of the founders of modernism. But yeah, during his time, he wasn't really accepted. So technically, his paintings are remarkable for the loose brushstrokes, the nuanced color, unusual cropping. So Manet delved in new approaches to compositional elements, and he got some sort of like bad criticism for it, and also a different sense of light. Anyhow, this is a painting by Giacomo Balla. Giacomo Balla, we brought this painting, we brought work by this artist, I think not a long time ago, and he's famous for having the painting of the dog with the black dog with tons of legs, trying to express movement. He was a futurist painter, and he also did this painting in 1913, Flight of the Swallows, in which he also incorporates this intent of representing movement by bringing the idea or utilizing the idea of repetition, pattern, and rhythm. So very interesting painting. And yeah, so he was the main originator or one of the originators of Futurism. And he was self-taught, and he was influenced by the Italian Divisionists at the time. And anyhow, he was he moved back to Rome. He was from Turin. He went to Paris. He moved back to Rome, and he was influenced by all the new things that were happening in Paris, all the new construction, the urban rearranging of the city, and all the modernism that was happening in that metropolis. And he wanted to carry that spirit when he came back to France and develop it in a different way, in a more of a technical way. But yeah, Flight of the Swallows, and we're bringing a painting by a British contemporary artist. He's still alive. He's still alive. He's still alive. Never mind. He's 74. I thought. He's considered a surrealist artist. He does a little bit of the painting, and his name is Kit Williams. Watching the Swallows Go. This was painted in 1979. And Kit Williams is an English artist, illustrator, and an author best known for his 1979, maybe this is part of the book, 1979 book Masquerade, a pictorial storybook which contains clues to the location of a golden jeweled hair created by Williams and then buried somewhere in Britain. He created this sculpture of an 18-karat hair that he buried somewhere in Europe, and then he wrote a book containing clues about where to find the golden hair. Among this wonderful story, he also created this painting, Watching the Swallows Go. And if you remember, we mentioned that The flyway corridor in the Americas goes from Alaska all the way to south of Chile and Argentina. There is a corridor. I don't know if it's called also flyway corridor, and that goes from South Africa all the way to the UK. So no surprise that this painter incorporates swallows as a subject in his one of his works. This makes me really happy. I don't know, Amanda, I don't know if anyone found that. Sorry, yes, someone's asking if that golden hair has been found. And I have no idea, but we will reveal the answer during the webinar tomorrow. This is Jolensky. This makes me so happy. A Jolensky painting. Jolensky, Alexei von Jolensky was a Russian painter. He was considered an expressionist, I guess, but he picked up from Fauvism as well. And he was famous for primarily painting archetypal portraits in a very geometric way, using shapes and very simplistic forms. He drew inspiration early in his work from Vasily Kandinsky, and he, together with Kandinsky, they created a group called the Blue Rider, and he was also influenced by the Fauve, especially influenced by Henri Matisse. He was influenced by the Neo-Impressionist, and he used color in a very specific way. This painting, it's called Still Life, with bottle, bread, and red wallpaper with swallows. So the swallows are actually part of a wallpaper, and this is a still life. So you can already see his playful, his playful intent when choosing subjects for paintings. And we haven't come across his work in a long time, but the lovely Jen, who's here, knows that Jolensky was one of the authors of the painters that we used a lot when we taught art and painting to single-digit people, and we're happy to bring one of his paintings here. This is a postcard of the Swallow Motel, and we thought that the Swallow Motel was still existing in San Juan Capistrano, but it's not there anymore. So so there's no more motel, and we just can't. This painting is just so incredibly amazing. Study of a Dead Swallow, 1837, by Johann Thomas Lundby. I don't know exactly how that's pronounced because he was a Danish painter, 1818 to 1848. And he was known for his animal and landscape paintings. We absolutely love this painting of a dead swallow. It's just so beautiful and incredible and sad, but so spiritual and so well painted. And okay, so yes, there's a writing, I think it's a writing of his name on the top part. We love the colors. The paint's very thin. It's so stunning. And I think, I don't know if, it's a different kind of like swallow species. I think there are many kinds of swallow species. So we're seeing orange on the chest, and we think that's a cliff swallow, but obviously maybe not. Okay, so this will be the webinar tomorrow, and then we also want to say that we did a little bit of research about what swallows symbolize, and we found some very interesting stuff. Swallows, if it's going to click in your visual mind immediately, swallows have been subjects of tattoos for a very long time. I think not anymore. For some reason, we don't see swallow tattoos. But swallow tattoos were very common at some point. For sailors specifically, swallow tattoos have specific meanings. Typically, a sailor who has traveled for more than 5,000 nautical miles will get a swallow tattoo to demonstrate that they are well experienced. So that's the origin of tattooing a swallow on your chest or whatever, to prove that you have traveled a long distance. And talk about what we said earlier during the presentation about this being a metaphor for a long journey. So obviously I'm using the word metaphor because we haven't traveled at all, but I think we have gone through a long period of time. So I think it would be interesting to paint a swallow now to demonstrate our pandemic journey, and hope that this is just going to be a new beginning. So we think it's the perfect subject for now and for what we are going through, since a lot of things are reopening, but we're not quite there yet. We're not ready to nest or socialize. Swallows are very social birds. So anyhow, so swallow tattoos are also considered lucky for seafarers, as they believe that if they drown, the sailors, they believe that if they drown, the swallow will carry their souls away safely. How gorgeous is that? The birds were also associated with working class pride in England, and many fighters tattooed swallows on their knuckles or fists to symbolize their strength and swiftness. So we didn't have time to research swallow tattoos on bare knuckles, but trust us, we will find out and then see if we can post some images of that, because we're dying to find out exactly what that looks like. In ancient Greece, the swallow, I said Greece, I think I did, I said it right. In ancient Greece, the swallow was associated with Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and was believed to bring good luck and happiness. The ancient Romans believed that the swallow was a totem bird for mothers in sorrow, and that it embodied the souls of children who had been lost in childbirth. Oh, wow. Okay, so another beautiful symbolism about loss and grief, and as a metaphor for that feeling. And finally, one more thing about symbolisms of the swallow. Swallows have believed to bring happiness and luck to a household. So I think that's the reason why no one broke nests in their homes. If you got a swallow in your house, you wouldn't break it. I don't remember any neighbor doing that, honestly. And we had swallows in our home at some point, and it was wonderful. Whenever a swallow leaves a home, it may mean that there will be unfortunate events that may happen in the future. This bird also symbolizes leaving the past behind. Perfect to what we're doing this week, to symbolize a new chapter, but also leaving the past behind. As a totem animal, it warns a person that if they need to find happiness in their life, they should move on from their past. They need to let go of the past worries that are making them suffer, especially of the things that they have no control of. So, okay, perfect message to conclude this presentation. We're painting swallows. We're gonna use image bank. We're gonna compile a lot of images of swallows in different situations and their nest, flying. Swallows have beautiful coloring and shapes. So we wanted to do something pretty, something springy, something that also conceptually was meaningful. And we believe that painting swallows will just check all the boxes. Join us tomorrow painting webinar is live from 11 to 1, but you can just join us anytime because we're going to record it, and you can register at any point. And also, the link is on our website, but then we're just going to send another link to our subscribers explaining a little bit more about the webinar. This will be our 11th webinar of the year. We've done 11 collections of paintings. We're so proud, and it's still March. We've done some beautiful work, and we are looking forward to do that, to do this new collection. And also, if you are listening on a podcast, know that you can see the images of all the paintings on our YouTube channel video, or also on our Instagram page. And don't forget, this Saturday we paint at Forest Lawn. So if you're listening, thanks Amanda and Denise and Laura, Jen, we'll see you tonight, and Julie, and oh my gosh, Me Violet. Love your Instagram. Please, everyone, check their Instagram. We need to do something with your images, friend, because they're so beautiful. Thanks for being here and watching this or listening to it, and goodbye.